Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Thornburg. This is part 2 in my measles series. We want to understand what literature is out there that pediatricians are pushing. This mom did share me 2 articles that her pediatrician shared with her. One is a 2016 article that was in the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics subsection. The title of this article is Measles and Measles Vaccination. She also shared a Substack, and the title of the article is Malicious Measles Myths and Memory Holding. The purpose of these 2 articles is to state that the disease burden of measles is very serious. The MMR vaccine is a safe and effective way and cost-effective way to prevent measles and measles complications. So that was the purpose of those 2 articles. I'm not going to critique the Substack because that's really just an opinion piece and I'm trying to stay scientific. But the 2016 article in JAMA, I want to get into a little bit, help teach you guys how to look at research articles with a critical eye. This article is a review article. What they did is they took previous published studies, they collected them, and they looked for a common conclusion. Then they published it as a review article. This is different than a prospective study. A prospective study is much more powerful. My critique of this article is the authors did not provide a systematic review framework of how articles were selected. So generally, when you do a review article and you're collecting other articles to review, you will lay out what criteria you're using to pick those articles because each of these articles were done a little bit differently. You want to make sure that there is a lack of bias that you're building into your analysis. You want to identify how you're picking that. So if I just grabbed 5 kids and I didn't tell you why I picked them, but they happen to all have red hair and blue eyes, you would be a little suspicious that I randomly picked a bunch of articles. But if I set out the criteria of how I'm picking my 5 kids to include in a review, then you would understand how applicable that conclusion is to your own situation. So that's the major failing of this 2016 review article. Dr. Marcia Angel, she wrote a book in 2004 that outlined how big pharma has captured the scientific literature community and that big pharma was controlling what information was being put out there, how drugs were being approved, and controlling the medical education. What we see on the surface certainly meets a mainstream narrative. So if you receive these kind of articles, make sure that you do a quick analysis. How was this study done? Was it prospective or was it a review? And if it's a review, are they telling you how they obtained the information? Because if they don't, it just wide open to bias and it could be a foregone conclusion of what they're trying to do. This completes part 2. Next part, I'm going to get into what's happening over at the CDC. Thanks.